Amanda, thank you for having me, and I hope you and your family are doing well through these unprecedented times.
Well, thank you very much, and yours as well. And that, of course, is the central issue, right, is the healthcare part of this. So I want to start with, you run a big, complex organization. It is very people-heavy for all of the use of technology these days. How are you managing to keep your people safe at a time when your demands on them are probably as strong as ever?
Well, as you can imagine, Amanda, we are a critical service. It's important that financial services are available in a seamless fashion to all Canadians and Americans as well. It is one of the hallmarks of the banking industry to do that through tough times. And, I couldn't be more proud of what our people have been able to do. So we've obviously, done the obvious things that you would expect from banks. We've trimmed down our network. We've reduced some hours to make sure that, we have social distancing protocols that are absolutely followed. We're going through the cleaning protocols and making sure we're creating barriers for our customers. So we've done a lot here to make sure that is our top priority, the safety of our own people as well as our customers. So I feel particularly good as to, how the bank has responded in that respect.
And when we talk about the delivery of some of these programs, what are you seeing for small businesses, Bharat? We know that it's still early. Businesses are still sort of figuring out how the wage subsidy works, how some of the loan programs will be accessed. But in terms of the help your customers need, can you gauge for us what it looks like out there?
Well, obviously when you have a forced shutdown, as we are all experiencing in the economy, it's going to create a lot of stresses for a lot of segments, particularly small businesses. So, at TD, we have had a program we for many, many years now, something called TD Helps. It deals with, individual customers as well as small businesses and other types of businesses where, we hear their issues out and we redo the loans where appropriate, make deferred payments available and the like, and making sure in the right products. But there is no doubt there is stresses here. You've heard of various government programs that are being rolled out on both sides of the border. And TD is very much part of those discussions to make sure that these are delivered in a seamless fashion. So I think the banks generally are doing quite well with this. There's a huge amount of cooperation between peer banks as well as various departments of government to make sure these programs are delivered. And like you said, we are on the front lines of this to make sure that Canadians and Americans do benefit from these programs that have been announced.
Some of them we've heard of massive uptake. Can you just paint a picture of how many of your customers are seeking mortgage deferral relief, credit card reductions, interest rate reduction? These are real businesses to you. What are you seeing by way of volume?
Well, as you know, the Canadian banks announced, deferral of mortgage payments for a 6-month period of folks, who were impacted by COVID-19. So at TD, we've, like most banks, have seen a huge take-up for this. I think last count, I got the numbers, as of last night. We had processed more than 75,000 of these within our system. 99% of the applicants that are coming in are approved, and these continue to be well received. I think on the small business front, we've had a program, like I said, for many years, and we're seeing lots of requests to change payment terms and the like. And the bank, again, is doing the right thing. It is critically important that we stand by our customers, that TD's tradition has been, our brand has been, that we're a customer-centric bank, and this is the time that's going to matter. In the U.S., of course, all the programs, and we are as well involved in delivering those.
And you have a massive presence in the U.S., that Northeast, so important to you, in some ways larger than Canada. So how do you balance your efforts in terms of what you're doing for your American customers versus your Canadian?
Well, the environment is different. What's being done by governments in each country is different. So we want to make sure that, we act as local as we can to deliver those programs. And in the U.S., one particular part, and I think in your introduction to this segment was, what's going on in New York. So TD has a very large presence in New York that's been particularly difficult for our people and for our customers. So, we've been doing what is appropriate there. Generally in the U.S., we have lots of drive-throughs. So from a store perspective, we're able to provide services to through a lot more locations than we might in Canada because we have drive-throughs, which of course are much safer for our customers as well as our people. But the U.S. program, one example is the SBA facility. TD started taking applications this morning, and we've got thousands coming in, which is a government-sponsored program that allows for guaranteed loans, and part of the loans can be forgiven by the federal government in the United States based on employment levels and the like. So we are very much part of those discussions, and like you said, TD's presence in the U.S. is large, and we are proud to be there and as well supporting our American customers.
We heard from the banking regulator, Jeremy Rudin, last week that OSFI does stand ready to free up more capital as the banks require it. They've already taken some steps in that direction. Bharat, do you feel as though that's a necessary next step?
Well, OSFI already responded. They reduced the domestic stability buffer by 125 basis points, which was substantial. I think from TD's perspective, we entered this crisis, very well capitalized. We ended our fiscal year end at 12.1% common equity tier 1 ratio. We were highly liquid as well coming into the crisis. All that is, it turned out to be very good for the bank. I expect, generally banks are so much stronger than they were getting into the financial crisis that, there is adequate capital, and all the policy changes that have been announced since this crisis started have been very, very helpful. So I feel there is enough capital to support the economy going forward.
Can you give us your indication on commitment to the dividend? We've heard from a couple of other bank CEOs, and they've noted that you've been paying dividends for a long time. Can you commit to not cutting the dividend?
Well, we've been paying dividends for a long, long time, and including through the financial crisis when, a lot of jurisdictions that stopped, their banks from paying dividends. I can tell you, we have no plans to change our dividend policy at this time. We've had a long tradition of this. Like I said, we went into this crisis with very good capital levels. And, the way the bank operates, we should have more than adequate dividend to support the recovery that will shortly come.
And what does that recovery look like in your view? There's a lot of debate about how long until we get there, how steep is the rebound. What are you thinking?
Well, our view is that, that yes, how deep this is obviously important, but more important is how long. What's the duration of this? If this turns out that, we can bounce back to some extent next quarter, then I think, there is a good chance of having a V type of or a V-ish type of economy. But without a doubt, you can see some recovery and then a meaningful recovery to come back because, we will not have a forced lockdown right now. The health crisis has meant that parts of our economy is in a forced lockdown, and that's why the numbers are going to be, pretty bad. But as these lockdowns get lifted, people go back to work, then of course the economy will come back. Now it will be interesting to see, how steep the V is, but I certainly expect good growth coming out of the crisis.